The party was a blur of faces I didn't know, a symphony of conversations I wasn't a part of. I felt like a ghost, drifting through rooms filled with laughter and music, wondering if anyone even saw me. I clutched my drink, a flimsy shield against the overwhelming sense of not belonging. I was just about to find a quiet corner and wait for a polite moment to slip away when I saw them. Across the crowded living room, bathed in the soft glow of a lamp, were two women. They weren't the loudest or the most flamboyant people there, but they had an energy that was magnetic. One, with short, dark hair, whispered something to the other, who had long, flowing red hair. The redhead threw her head back and laughed, a genuine, joyful sound that cut through the noise of the party. They shared a look, a silent conversation that spoke volumes about their connection. It was playful, intimate, and so incredibly warm. I couldn't look away. There was a confidence in their shared smiles, an ease in the way they leaned into each other's space. They were a world of their own, and I found myself inexplicably drawn to it. I must have been staring, because the one with the dark hair caught my eye. She didn't look away or scowl. Instead, a gentle smile spread across her face, and she gave a small, encouraging nod. My heart did a little flip. A moment later, they started making their way through the crowd, heading in my direction. My first instinct was to panic, to pretend I was fascinated by the wallpaper, but it was too late. "Hey, I don't think we've met." "I'm Lila," the woman with the dark hair said, her voice even warmer than her smile. "And I'm Mara," the redhead added, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "We saw you standing over here and thought you might need rescuing from the snack table." I laughed, the sound feeling rusty in my throat. "Is it that obvious?" "Only to a fellow expert in party avoidance," Lila said with a wink. "What's your name?" I told them my name, and just like that, the conversation started to flow. It wasn't forced or awkward like so many party introductions are. They asked me questions, real questions, about what I did, what I was passionate about, what music I loved. And they actually listened to my answers, their eyes fixed on mine, making me feel like what I had to say genuinely mattered. We talked about everything and nothing, bad movies we secretly loved, the strangest places we'd ever traveled to, our shared frustration with the city's public transport. With them, I didn't feel like an outsider anymore. I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Lila had this calm, grounding presence, while Mara was effervescent, her energy infectious. They complemented each other perfectly, finishing each other's sentences, sharing inside jokes that they quickly looped me into. The anxiety that had been clinging to me all night began to melt away, replaced by a comfortable, buzzing warmth. After a while, the noise of the party started to feel overwhelming again. As if reading my mind, Mara leaned in. "It's getting a little crazy in here. There's a balcony. Want to get some fresh air with us?" I nodded eagerly. Following them felt like the most natural thing in the world. They led me through a set of glass doors to a small balcony overlooking the city. The cool night air was a welcome relief. Below us, the city lights twinkled like a fallen constellation. The roar of the party softened to a distant hum. Out here, the energy shifted. It became quieter, more intimate. We stood in a comfortable silence for a moment, just breathing it all in. Then, Lila turned to me, her expression soft. "So, are you having a better time now than you were an hour ago?" I smiled, a real, genuine smile this time. "A million times better. Thank you." I was about 2 minutes away from making a run for it. "We couldn't let that happen," Mara said, her shoulder gently brushing against mine. "We saw you, and, well, we were intrigued." My breath hitched. Intrigued? My mind started racing. What did she mean by that? Lila seemed to sense my slight confusion. "You have a really thoughtful look about you," she explained. "Like you're seeing more than everyone else in the room. We wanted to know what you were thinking about." The sincerity in her voice was disarming. I found myself opening up in a way I rarely do with strangers, telling them about how I often feel on the periphery of things, more of an observer than a participant. They listened without judgment, nodding with understanding. "We get that," Mara said softly. "Sometimes it feels like the whole world is shouting, and you're just trying to find a place where you can whisper." Her words hit me right in the chest. That was it. That was exactly how I felt. As she spoke, she gently rested her hand on my arm. The touch was light, brief, but it sent a jolt of electricity through me. It wasn't just a friendly gesture, there was a tenderness to it, a deliberate act of connection. Lila moved to stand on my other side, her warmth seeping into me. "It's nice to find people who speak the same language, isn't it?" she murmured, her gaze holding mine. We stood there, the three of us, under the vast, dark sky. The space between us was filled with an unspoken energy. It was more than just friendship. There was a current of attraction, a gentle pull that was both thrilling and a little terrifying. Mara's thumb began to softly stroke my arm, a simple, rhythmic gesture that made my pulse quicken. Lila's eyes searched mine, as if asking a question I didn't know how to answer. I felt seen. Not just noticed, but truly seen, for who I was beneath the surface-level party chatter. They weren't just being polite, they were being kind, affectionate, and open. They had created this little bubble of safety and warmth for me on that balcony, a sanctuary from my own insecurities. I don't know how long we stood out there. Time seemed to warp, stretching and compressing. We talked more, our voices low, sharing vulnerabilities and dreams. They told me about how they met, the struggles they'd faced, and the deep, unwavering love they had for each other. They spoke of their relationship with such honesty and pride, it was beautiful to witness. And in sharing their world with me, they made me feel like I could be a part of it. Eventually, the chill of the night began to set in, and we knew it was time to go back inside. As we turned to leave the balcony, Lila paused and gently tucked a stray strand of hair behind my ear. Her fingers lingered on my skin for a heartbeat longer than necessary. My breath caught in my throat. At the same time, Mara gave my hand a soft squeeze before letting go. It was a silent, coordinated ballet of affection that left me dizzy. The rest of the night passed in a happy haze. I stayed close to them, no longer feeling the need to hide. I was part of their orbit, included in their laughter, their conversations. When it was finally time for me to leave, they both walked me to the door. "We're really glad we met you," Mara said, her smile genuine and warm. "Please don't be a stranger," Lila added, handing me her phone. "Put your number in. We'd love to see you again." My fingers fumbled slightly as I typed in my number, my heart pounding a steady rhythm against my ribs. I handed the phone back, and our fingers brushed. That spark was there again, undeniable. I walked home through the quiet streets, the chill of the night air unable to cool the warmth that had spread through my entire body. I had arrived at that party feeling invisible, a guest who didn't belong. But I left feeling something else entirely. Seen. Appreciated. Desired. It was more than just a fleeting party connection. It was a moment of profound emotional intimacy, a surprise encounter that shifted something deep within me. What began as a lonely night had transformed into an unforgettable experience of connection, attraction, and the beautiful, unexpected surprise of being welcomed into someone else's world. I went to bed that night with a smile on my face, already looking forward to their text. I was no longer just a guest, I felt like I was at the beginning of a new story. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you next time.